And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the WardiTV Monday, number 35, your weekly dose of WardiTV action. Of course, as ZvP, with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to something a little bit different, something special. Welcome to not just our weekly tournament, but with a returning player for the first time in a very long time. It has been far too long. It's been almost a year since she has been regularly competing, regularly partaking in these tournaments. Let's get into it. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the Polish Protoss player, the green Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as you can get your Gamba going. Again, it's been far too long. Scarlett is back. Let's go. If you remember, we casted Scarlett last week. Scarlett, she did play and partake in the Lily Cup 38, where Scarlett took down Jeshi. And went up against Gumiho in the finals of Lily Cup as well. And if you recall, I was commenting on the fact that on whether or not this is a return to form, whether Scarlett is actually back. Scarlett has been on a very long hiatus. Scarlett has not competed in StarCraft. Oh, I have to get rid of the tuna. But Scarlett hasn't competed in StarCraft on a regular basis since EWC, since halfway through last year. It's been 9 months, 10 months. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time since Scarlett has been regularly competing. But of course, did recently return for the Lily Cup. Also returned for a show match against Hero, an off-race show match, also in the Lily Cup. And I know that Scarlett played, I think, in Kung Fu Cup last week, like in StarCraft Evolution. I believe she also played in either StarCraft, yeah, it was StarCraft Evolution, not StarCraft Evolution League, but did compete in Kung Fu Cup. So Scarlett, she's been popping up every now and then, has been playing and competing and partaking every now and then here in like a tournament here and there over the past month of play. And now, for the first time in a long time, in an open cup. Let's go. Now the question becomes, what form is she in? Now, when it comes to a match and when it comes to a series against Jeshi, she was obviously looking pretty solid. She was looking pretty informed, pretty solid. Based on her performance against Jeshi, I would say that her current skill, I would say, is comparable to that of Gerald, if not maybe even slightly favored. I will say that. And what I will also say is that that series against Jeshi was, what, 3 weeks ago at this point? Like, it's been a couple of weeks. So if Scarlett has been practicing, has been looking to level up in skill, then she could be looking even stronger here and now. So I'm ready, I'm excited. We'll see how Scarlett compares to Gerald. Let's go. As Gerald, of course, has risen through the ranks amongst the European Protoss players to the point where I would say Gerald is probably top 5, like top 5 European Protoss. It's hard to say. There's a lot of Polish Protoss players that are quite close in ranking, like regards to Gerald, regards to Christiana, regards to Mana as well. Like, they're all very strong and very powerful at the moment. So it's kind of hard to kind of place them amongst each other. So we'll see. We shall see. For now, Gerald, he's very much so a standard player. He doesn't really shake things up too much. So Oracle Opener into a third base. And Gerald, he's not one to go into like leveled up builds too often. And Gerald is one to mix in Robo follow-ups and I should say Archon drop follow-ups. That Gerald will do. So we'll keep an eye on him, see how he does mix things up in the mid game. Behind the Scarlett hatch gas pool, third base, droning, saturating, nothing crazy here from Scarlett. Everything so far looking normal, looking standard. Welcome one and all to Pylon. Pylon is a large map, that is true, but the rush distance by ground is relatively short, and we have seen a lot of aggression favored on Pylon as well. The attack path, path is very direct here on Pylon. As Scarlett does make a wave of Lings and is going to be threatening the third base. Now the Oracle pokes in and gets a revelation, nothing major. The Oracle should be active here, and at any moment we do have the second Oracle yet to defend the third base. So these things, they shouldn't really get much done. Oracle pokes in, runs into the Queens, pulls away, back at home. Twilight Council forward, standard follow +1 and blink on the horizon here for Gerald. Lings, they hit the third, but again the Oracle is within the vicinity and the Oracle will defend. The Lings should be dealt with. Oh, can they get a Pylon though? Not bad. Yeah, maybe actually the Oracle slightly out of position here, and the Pylon does go down. One Adept as well. Nice pickoffs here from Scarlett. Nothing major, but good trades nonetheless. And we do see Geralt opening up double Oracle into a Phoenix. Interesting. Now, this Phoenix is designed to hunt down overlords to deny vision, deny scouting. What exactly are we hiding here? So far, everything's looking as it should be. We'll see if he does kind of, again, go down a different route. As Phoenix will shut down the initial overlord. The other thing that a Phoenix follow-up does is that it does deter spire play. It does deter mutas, just because there's already a Phoenix, so now there's less of a chance, or now you're de-incentivized from going into muta play. Oh my god, as the Phoenix overextends, that is not worth it here. Gets an overlord kill, but to lose a Phoenix, a much better trade for Scarlett. Yeah, much better trade. Behind this, we have +1 and Blink, as to be expected, but already an earlier Templar archive. So much earlier follow-up tech. Gases are being taken, going into not Colossus, but into Storm. Let's go. It's been years. It has been. It's been years. But from here, Scarlett is going to be saturating, getting her third base up and running. Fourth base is going to be on the way. Gas is being taken as well. +1 range tells us that this is going to be a very heavy commitment into Ling Hydra. Emphasis on the Hydras, less so the Lings. Otherwise, we would have seen +1 melee instead. Adepts, they do threaten to shade towards the bases, and so far, Scarlett is in position. So far, Scarlett does keep up, does deny. Does deny those Adepts. Gerald just poking in, clearing up some creep. Not committing. There's that. I should emphasize this once again. This storm is very early. This is really early storm here. Usually we would be seeing a gateway explosion into extra stalkers into later storm and later splash damage. But this storm is going to hit a little earlier than normal, and we'll see if Gerald's able to make use of that in some way. Meanwhile, Lings, they just ignore the Adepts, looking for a massive counterattack. The fourth base is exposed. The Oracles are out of position. Remember, only 2 Oracles because he did make a Phoenix, not a third Oracle. Yeah, with that, the base is denied. Very nice pick off here from Scarlett. Catching Geralt out of position. That's a kill, not a cancel on the pylon. So it kills another pylon. Links from here, they have to back up. Adepts, they are dealt with back at home. And Scarlett is taking up. Here we go. As we mentioned before, with +1 range being researched, you can see here, Hydrogen, bam, into Infestation Pit and Lurker Den. So we're taking up into Hive, taking up into Lurkers as well. Again, we're using Links to harass, that is true, but the main emphasis, the main goal here, the main win condition is to get into Lurkers. Scarlett is working in that direction. So far, doing a great job here at harassing, at keeping Geralt busy. Geralt struggling to get a fourth. Storm is now done. But again, because of the rush into Storm, that means less gateways, and that means that Geralt has been very passive here. Typically, in a standard PvZ, we'd be seeing a lot of pressure with the Stalkers, right? Like the Stalkers would be pressuring, they'd be poking, denying creep, pressuring the fourth base, denying the fourth base as well. But because of the early Storm, Geralt has been more defensive. He's had less Stalkers, less Warpins, and has been stuck at home. Did harass with some Adepts earlier, but that's all the harassment that Geralt has done. And because of this, Scarlett has had free reign, and look at the drone count. 87, already almost 90 drones at this point. Scarlett has been left to her own devices, has drawn up very heavily, has been left alone, and Geralt's going to be punished for it. And now Geralt's hurtling up into Sky Toss. Fleet Beacon is done, second Stargate on the way, going into Tempest production. And that's all well and good, but the problem here is that 1, the fourth base is very late. 2, I mean, this map is very accessible in between the bases, at the third, at the fourth base as well. I would say this is one of the more difficult maps to defend on. So we'll see if Geralt can turtle up. That's basically what's happening here. Geralt, he's just hyper defensive. He's turtling up, he's walling up cannons, shield batteries, wall-offs as well, Storm, and trying to get into Sky Toss. But the problem here is that, again, the fourth base was late. Scarlett was very greedy and got away with all that greed, even has the high yield gas geyser. Scarlett is going to be the first to max out, and before we get into any really big semblance of Sky Toss, Scarlett can just barrel down that fourth base with Lurker. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Lurkers are building up. This is going to hit with +2, as +2's on the horizon. And this is going to be a tough hold. Right now, Geralt is vulnerable. Now, if Geralt can somehow survive this, there's a world where maybe the stasis trap goes off and catches most of the Lurkers. Maybe the Storms, they have like insane connections here on the Hydras. Like, there are worlds where Geralt can take a fight, but oh, just like that, the stasis trap is denied. Lurkers are moving in, and Geralt is not ready for this. Geralt just doesn't really have much of an army. Lurkers, they push forward, they zone away the High Templar. Lurker range is still not done. Nice Storm here on the Hydras. Storm does pop up, but there we go. Lurker range now kicking in. And Scarlett just bullying back the ground army. The Lunkers, they zone away. And as the army zoned away, the fourth base is exposed, and the fourth base is going to go down. That's what matters here. With the fourth base being broken, Gerald can't really afford much else. As the Nexus should fall. Tempest, I mean, they will kill all the Hydras and they will kill everything eventually, but not before the base goes down. At the same time, bottom left is denied. And Gerald is going to be stuck on 3 bases. Gerald doesn't really have the economy to sustain this. And now from here, Spire. Now we're going for the Spire. Now we're switching into Corruptors, into Vipers, into that more late game composition. And yes, Gerald, he's alive, he survives, but he cannot maintain this economy. He cannot maintain this kind of army without a fourth. And the wing condition for Scarlett is deny the base. Deny the base owner again. Here we go. Nidus into the main. Lings towards the fourth base. Hydras towards the third. Going for a tri-pronged attack. That's a kill, not a cancel. Base goes down. And Gerald, he responds to the Nidus at least. But the Lurkers, they move in. Oh, a bit of an overextension. Lurkers, they still trade fairly well. Yeah, they take down most of the ground army. More Lurkers, they do borrow. Ooh, taking down the Archons. Gerald, he will clean this up, but no fourth. Still no fourth expansion. And Scarlett still just amassing more Hydras, getting to +3 range, +1. That flyer attack is now on the way. The creep here is getting out of control. We have creep encroaching on the bases here of Gerald, making it even more difficult to expand. Gerald is forced back. Scarlett pulling away. We're just waiting for another wave of Lurkers. The Lurker count was reset, but every time we attack with Lurkers, I mean, bases are falling, stack defense is falling. We can see Gerald still trying to turtle, still trying to build up. And this time Scarlett not even making any Lurkers. True, I mean, there's not that many storms. Could just commit. Okay, there's 2 Templar. 2 Templar, there's the lunge. 1 2 Templar go down, 1 storm goes up, and that's not going to be enough. Gerald has to respond with his main army. Hydra's pushing further in. Push further in at the same time. Scarlett pushing towards left hand side as well. And again, this time not even any Lurkers. This time not even necessary. Just having a more mobile army denies the fourth base for a 3rd time, or even a 4th time. Geralt cannot expand. Geralt's Tempest army has been slowly getting bigger, that is true, but I mean at the same time we're also building up and getting ready for those Corruptors. Scarlett building up her bank, taking more bases, taking more expansions, spreading more creep, catching a mineral line, and just moving in with pure Ling Hydra at this point. Again, there's no need for the Lurkers, not anymore. Lings, they bust into the bases. I just pull away. We get the recall into the main. And it's just a numbers game at this point. There's just far too much here. The Hydras, the Lings are getting out of hand. Collapsing on top of the High Templar, forcing out their storms. Storms are pretty decent here on the Hydras, but there are just so many. There are just so many Hydras here. Bases are falling left and right. Another expansion goes down. GG gets called, and Scarlett will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Scarlett does take a lead in the series here, does pop off here in the first game, looking very strong, very powerful. What I will say, Gerald was so passive. Gerald, he was so passive, so defensive. We spoke about this. Gerald, instead of going for Stalker aggression in the mid game, he went for Fast Storm. He went for Faster Storm, and he was turtling instead. He was very passive, very defensive, and this allowed Scarlett to get away with a lot of greed. A lot of greed there. For Scarlett, as Scarlett, she was able to, remember, drone up to 87 so fast and so quick. There was some adept harass, that is true. There was a little bit of adept harass early on, but Scarlett was able to deal with that. Scarlett able to counterattack as well, deny the 3rd base, deny the 4th base, or I should say, kill pylons at the 3rd and deny the 4th base. And yeah, it was really quite successful. Oh, really quite successful with that aggression, and again got away with a lot of droning, a lot of greed, and always had her eye on the ball. Remember, from the beginning, +1 range, not +1 melee. From the beginning, Scarlett was already getting ready to embrace Hydras and Lurkers. She was already building up and working in that direction, and she got there. She got there in a very nice position, and with that, Geralt was kind of bullied out. And now we're getting into our next game. Oh, I should get rid of the tutor. There we go. Well, now we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see if Gerald is going to be more active here. Again, personally, I'm a little bit surprised by how defensive Gerald was. I've seen Gerald be more active, be more aggressive, be in the face of Zerg players. That's not what we saw in game number 1. Not at all, really. So we'll see if Gerald does switch gears, clearly showing that if Scarlett is allowed to, Scarlett sees an opportunity, she will just drone the hell up. She'll drone up, get up to 87, max out on Hydras, max out on Lunkers. If you're gonna let her, she will. And here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Streamer Zone down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. Here we go. I'll share my papi, share my in the chat. Good to see you all. I see Baby Links as well, Baby Links. I see Soundo. I see Randy. Hope you're all doing well. You're doing well. And again, it was a pleasant surprise to see Scarlett in the bracket. I was like, oh my god, let's go. We have a Zerg. that's the biggest surprise, really. Oh no. That's crazy. It's crazy. Meanwhile, Hatch Gas full standard opener out of Scarlett, and again, my eyes are going to be on Gerald. Now, a couple of different things here. First things first, welcome to Ultra Love. Ultra Love, I would say, is a smaller map. True, is a smaller map compared to Pylon, shorter rush distance by ground. These are true things. At the same time, a lot more choke points. Ultra Love is a more defensive map than Pylon. If a player were to be more defensive, were to turtle up and camp, this is a better map for it. We have choke points coming into the 3rd base, coming into the 4th base, so there's a lot of choke points, a lot of ramps, a lot of points of elevation. The bridges are very narrow as well. It is easier here to cut the map in half. You can also knock down these towers and fully wall off this area. So if Gerald did want to play that style, this I think would be a little bit better. I say a little bit, there's a give and take. On the one hand, these bases are more defendable, that is true, they're easier to fortify. At the same time though, because the rush distance by ground is so short, we have seen a lot of German taxis, right? We've seen a lot of like Queen drop based all-ins, or just Queen walks across the map with Roach Ravager, some Nidus based all-ins. All-ins from the side of Zerg have been relatively popular on this map, with a lot of success as well. So that's also something to bear in mind, is that I would say that there's like a period of vulnerability early on when you're on 3 bases, but when a Protoss player works towards a 4th base, then it becomes easier to defend. So that's when kind of like the window closes and you expect to see longer games. If they can get up to a 4-base economy, then we're going to late game. Is often the case. Not always, but often. So we'll see which direction this goes in, as for now, Gerald does poke in. Once again, Stargate opener going for the Oracle. Again, the opener was also a little bit lackluster for Gerald. If you remember, he went double Oracle Phoenix, and he lost the first Phoenix to 1 Overlord. Like, it was a really, really rough start for Gerald losing that first Phoenix. It did mean that he had less Oracles, he had less to defend, and I'll be honest, without having that 3rd Oracle, that meant that his 4th base was vulnerable, and he had to cancel, right? He lost the 4th base early on as well. Everything just kind of snowballed out of control. So we'll see how Gerald does adapt. Meanwhile, from the side of Scarlett, so far droning, and we'll see if Scarlett finds another opportunity to be hyper greedy, as that is going to be a Twilight Council just as the 3rd base gets thrown down. So more aggression. Earlier Twilight Council this time. This is a very early Twilight Council, so this could be a couple different things. This could be Glaives. This could be Stargate opener into a 3rd into Glaive Adepts. This otherwise, if we see a faster Robo, this could be instead an Archon drop follow-up. So we'll see if we throw down a Robo or extra gateways. For now, I didn't see a Robo. This does feel like Glaives. Technically, this could be early Blink. We spoke about how small this map is, and if we were casting Hero Blink, this can turn into a 3-base Blink all-in with 8 gateways. Here comes a Gateway Explosion. Glaive Adepts. Okay. So more of the standard response. Meanwhile, at the same time, Lings, they do hit the 3rd. They take down an Adept, but they have to back up. The Oracle does defend. And again, glaive adepts are amassing. Now, as a reminder, this is not an all-in. This is not all-in, but this is designed to get damage done. And once again, Gerald's going double Oracle into a Phoenix. Interesting. Just like the last game, we have the same opener in regards to the Stargates. Designed to hunt down these Overlords. And make it more difficult for Scarlett to scout. Now, I do like this response here by Gerald because if you remember, something important happened last game. There was no Roach Warren. There was no Roach Warren from Scarlett. There was no Baneling Nest either. Without Roaches, without Banelings, Glaive Adepts this early on can do a lot. Now, thankfully, +1 melee. This time it's +1 melee. This time there's going to be more of a commitment and investment into Lings, and I'm hoping even Banelings as well. This does mean that Scarlett may be able to survive this and defend with purely Lings, and there we go. Safety Roach Warren. So Scarlett is this time being safer. Much safer play here. Checking the vision, Scarlett did not see the timing of the Twilight Council. Scarlett is playing blind, but does spot all these adepts. And the Roach Warren is not going to be done for it. Remember, this is a later Roach Warren, but Scarlett is ready to wall off. Lings are amassing. Here comes the wall. Queens trying to hold their own. Oracles, they're going for the dive. And they take down 2 queens. They're 2, 3, 4 queens going to be going down. The Lings, they collapse on top of the adepts, and the Lings, they will shut this down. At least they should. They should be able to shut this down. There we go. Adepts are falling one after the other, down to 2 adepts. And adepts, they do not get into the mineral line. 0 economic damage, but the queen count. Checking the losses here. 5 queens. 5 queens did go down, so that is still damage. Checking the units tab. 0 queens. Every queen just went down. So the queens, they have to be rebuilt. They have to be replaced. But at least Scarlett doesn't lose anything to the adepts. Here we go. Scarlett threatens a counterattack, but alas, there are plenty of Glaive Adepts here in position. And Gerald defends a third. Scarlett from here. Do you see what I see? All in. Overload speed. Overload speed is on the way. If you remember, we did mention something at the start of the game, how often we see German taxis and queen drops across the map on Ultra Love. That's what we're seeing here. We have Lings, we have Queens, we have Roaches, we have Overlord Speed, and we have Drop Lords coming. Scarlett is going for the all-in. As we mentioned, this is more common on Ultra Love because this is a smaller map. This does hit very hard, and Gerald, we spoke about it. If Gerald is able to establish himself on 4 bases, he can turtle up. No 4th base yet. He's not gotten to that point. Scarlett still has an opening, an opportunity to all-in. There we go, Lings to come in for a full surround. Blink is not done. Gerald, he's too premature. The Stalkers, they get caught out. Blink is still not yet complete. Lings are flooding across map. +1 melee is now done. And the all-in should be coming. Now, on the one hand, this 3rd base is looking very secure. We have cannons, we have shield batteries. The natural is open. The natural is a lot more open. And speaking of, Scarlett does hit the natural base. Army's moving in. And the natural is exposed. No shield batteries, no cannons. There is a massive opening here. This is a weak point into Gerald's defense. Vials, they connect, they take down. Oh, he flood in. Scarlett does flood in. She does break through, takes down the Cybercore, takes down the Twilight Council. We have some slow lots to defend. Yeah, there is no charge. And from here, Scarlett does break into the main. Lings are in the main base. We do have the Ravagers and Queens busy here at the 3rd. They have to work through all these cannons. So it does take a little bit more here to break through this line of defense. Uh-oh. And by the time she does, the Stalkers, they're holding their own Oracles. They do turn back around. Lings, they get cleaned up in the bases. And Scarlett, she's running out of steam. She's running out of steam here. Again, Gerald did want a defense here at the 3rd. This was ideal. And Gerald holds. Gerald is holding. Again, a lot of damage was being dealt here at the natural, but not good enough. And Gerald holds, and now Scarlett is in a rough position. She's in a rough position here. Scarlett down to 60 workers. She was completely all in. She had to end the game then and there. We saw that Scarlett's attention was split. It was split between attacking the 3rd base and attacking the natural. There was so much opportunity here at the natural base, but didn't quite commit all the way. And now Scarlett has to drone. Now Scarlett has to drone up, has to saturate, is working towards Hydras, working towards a later form of tech. And what's scary here, Gerald on 76 probes. That's a lot of probes. Now, what's important here is that Gerald is oversaturated. You can see here 28 out of 16. Gerald is not mining efficiently, not yet. Gerald needs a 4th. He needs that 4th base. So Gerald is still working in that direction, still trying to get that up and running. Scarlett joining up to 75. And Scarlett is cutting workers. Does get eyes on the 4th. Okay, not cutting works anymore, taking gases, joining up. Scarlett looks like she's getting ready for lurker tech. The creep is okay, it's connecting the bases, but basically Scarlett just has to shift gears. Have to try to adjust here and try to reacclimate, try to stabilize. +1 range on the way. We have +2 here on the way for Gerald. Collapsing on the Zealots. High Templar will zone away. Scarlett is max, true. So Scarlett can still try to break Gerald here and now. Now, Scarlett doesn't have to kill Gerald, but if she can break the fourth base, deny the expansion, then she can buy more time to tech up and embrace all these upgrades and get into a longer game in a better position. Here we go. Hydras have arrived. They're going for the cannon. Cannon goes down and breaks down the wall. At the same time, Scarlett distracting on the left-hand side. Storm is done. Scarlett does distract. Another storm is going to be coming in. Stasis does pop up. And there's the storm. Yeah, juicy storm here on the Hydras. That is true. Better split towards the end. Another storm connects, but Scarlett does get into the mineral line. And 25 probes go down. That's what's important here. 25 worker kills. Scarlett cripples the economy. And Scarlett may lose this army, but it was worth it. This was worth it for Scarlett. Behind this, Infestation Pit. Infestation Pit's on the way. Hive is on the way. Scarlett is on 77 workers. Scarlett's still building up, catching out more Stalkers. Rotating over towards the third. And Scarlett did get enough damage. From here, catching more Stalkers. Once again, gets into the mineral line. Another 7 probes going down. Gerald's getting torn apart here. Lings are coming from behind. The Gateway army here is crumbling. Where are the High Templar? There's only one High Templar, 0 storms. And Gerald will hold, but at a cost. At a cost, as Gerald is now down to 51 workers. Had 76 at one point. Down to 51. And Gerald was working towards Skytoss. Like the Stargate, the Fleet Beacon is done. The Fleet Beacon is done, was working towards Skytoss. And Gerald was almost there, but did not get into his own 4-base economy. And now Scarlett looking solid. Scarlett has recovered. Hive is on the way. I believe no Lurker Den yet, but I don't think a Lurker Den is necessary, just because the army is so low. If there were more Immortals, if there were Colossus, if there was a little bit more to this army, then sure, Lurkers would be necessary. But this army here for Gerald is very flimsy. There's a couple of High Templar, a couple of Archons, a couple of Stalkers. Right now, Scarlett can get away with purely Ling Hydra. Ooh, being a little bit fancy here, dropping into the main. Yeah, double drop alerts towards the main base. More Ling Hydra massing up here for Scarlett. Pushing on the right-hand side. Scarlett is being active. Moving in on the right with Mass Hydra. Storms will delay. Drop coming into the main. A Scarlet not going to Lurkers, going into Ultras. Okay, let's go. Ultras on the horizon. So drop is unloading. That's a lot of storms. Jeez, that's a lot of High Templar. That's 7 High Templar. Lings, they do take down the Templar archives at least. But Geralt is holding well. I mean, we spoke about this at the start of the game, if you recall. We spoke and we compared Pylon and Ultra Love, how Ultra Love is more defendable, right? Ultra Love is easier to defend on 4 bases, and you can see why here. I mean, we have a full wall at the 3rd. You can see the choke point here, the ramp, the high ground that you have available as well. Like, it is much more difficult to break the 4th on Ultra Love than it was on Pylon. And Scarlett, she's, again, countering that the hard way here. Trying to break Gerald, but not being able to. Now, thankfully, Scarlett is taking up. We have +3 on the way. We have Ultra upgrades as well. And there is a world where Gerald can turtle and defend up until a maxed out Skytoss army. That's Gerald's hope. Oh! I just a peg forward. Scarlett can afford these trades, so this is still okay. Trading against the Zealots. Picking up whatever she can. Oh, High Templar coming in for a flank. Oh my god. Another storm. Storms, they pop up, and the Hydras, they are shut down. Ay, ay, ay. Taking 3-4 storms to the face. Scarlett plummets in supply at the same time. Zealot run by here towards the top side. Ultra's now on the way. 11 Ultras in production. This base is going to go down. But Scarlett is hoping that Gerald keeps pushing. If Gerald pushes onto creep, he's going to be completely swallowed up by those Ultras. As 11 Ultras are coming. And Gerald needs to get the hell out of here. He has to get the hell out. If there's a recall, Gerald cannot be active. Not like this. And Gerald will race back home, catching out a bunch of Overlords. Ultras are amassing. And now, once again, we're back to turtle mode. You know, we're back to defending strictly here on 4 bases. Ultras making their way in. They try to push through. And so far, I mean, the High Templar, they're out of energy. More Ultras pushing in. Mineral line is exposed. Gerald's out of position. We need some of the... Oh, jeez, that's so many High Templar. Gerald not ready for the Ultras. High Templar, they're ideal against Hydras and Lings, but not so much against Ultras. As Scarlett, she can take the fight. Storms, they tickle the Ultras. Ultras, they rush on forward. They catch out the High Templar. Massive amount of High Templar go down. And Scarlett has done it. Scarlett breaks through the main army, cleans up, what was that, like 11 High Templar. The 4th base goes down. And again, the Ultras did catch Gerald off guard. Gerald was ready for more Lings and Hydras, not ready for Ultras. And again, specifically against High Templar, Ultras are ideal. Ultras, they do so well here. If there were more Immortals, different story, but as we mentioned, there was no Immortal production, there was no Rover production whatsoever. So Ultras, they played their parts. They take down the 3rd, and Geralt is down to this. Down to a couple of Tempest, down to the Mothership. Skytos is good, but not with the 2 base economy. I'm even being generous there. Half a base economy. there's nothing in the main, and there's half a mineral land here at the natural. There just is nothing to sustain Gerald. There's nothing here. And all that Scarlett needs, Scarlett, I mean, ideally against this kind of army, you have Corruptors, but because there's nothing supporting this army, because there's no Storm, or I spoke too soon, 11 High, Jesus, that's a lot of High Templar. Okay. I was gonna say, without any Storm, without any support, the Hydras are gonna be fine, but now we do more feed more Archons and High Templar and Storm, but that's what the Ultras are for, so Ling, Hydra, Ultra is still ideal against this. It's still fine. Scarlett doesn't need to take into Spire. There you go. Scarlett's diving in. Ultras, they just overwhelm the Archons. Archons go down, and now it's time for the Hydras. As now there is no Storm. GG, and Scarlett will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. Whew. Hi. GG, well played. Congratulations and congratulations to Scarlett as she will claim the series. Big win here for Scarlett, especially considering there was a rough moment in this game. Winding it back, if you remember, Scarlett, so initially it was Glaive Adepts. Remember, it was Stargate Opener into Glaive Adepts from Gerald, and Gerald, he didn't really trade too well with the Adepts. Scarlett had the advantage, and remember, Scarlett turned that advantage into an all-in, and the all-in looked promising, but the all-in failed. The all-in failed, and I would say that Gerald was ahead from there. Gerald defended against the all-in, got a 4th base up and running, turtled up on 4 bases as well, and Scarlett was in a rough position after the failed all-in. Thankfully, was able to recover, was able to build up into Hydras, and more importantly, was able to break the 4th base. Just barely, if you remember, was able to drop across into the main base. Lings, they slipped into the mineral line, and was able to kill 20, I think it was like 24? Like 24 probes went down, and the 4th base as well. Like Scarlett was able to barely break through, barely get the damage she was looking for, and then take a lead from there. But that was still very dicey, Shout out to Gerald for defending against the initial all-in, defending against the Queen drop and the initial Ling Roach Hydra as well. Gerald did survive that, but it was in the aftermath where Gerald did stumble a little bit in his defense. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Scarlett does claim it, and with that, we are now getting ready for our next series, !B in the chat. If you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves, let us switch our scenes over and catch up on the brackets.